Welcome to the Published and Paid podcast, where we share book, business, leadership, and life lessons in 20 minutes or less to help you build a thought leadership brand and business. My name is Jasmine Womack. I'm a former middle school language arts teacher turned seven-figure entrepreneur, and I am glad that you are here. Let's get started. From my experience over the past, at the time of this recording, which is about 7 years of doing this work in the self-publishing industry, whether it's from new clients or prospects, I've learned through my conversations, through a variety of surveys over the years, a variety of intake forms that we've done for our free workshops from self-published authors, that many self-published authors want to monetize their books, but they are not really sure how to. And what I find is that one of the major components that typically gets in the way of authors, thought leadership experts who are self-publishing their books is that when it comes to their book, they tend to think very small, like having very limited thinking. For example, authors they don't tend to think, oh, I'm going to sell a book. I'm going to write this book and sell 1,000 copies in a year. They don't think, I'm going to write this book and create a $5,000 or $10,000 consultant offer on the back end. They don't think that they can actually take the book and monetize it even more. And even when I work with experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who already have high ticket coaching, consulting packages, or service-based offers, when it comes to their book, they just really tend to have a very limited form of thinking. Or I'm just going to write a book because I want to be seen like X, Y, and Z. They don't stop to think about the continuous value that their book can add to their audience and how they can continue monetizing and get beyond the book. The truth is that, many authors have books that are not even written in a way to do this or have this type of result and make this happen. And unfortunately, we run into those instances, especially with my people who have the professional credentials, that they think that just because they are a strong writer or have some type of degree or certification or whatnot, then they can write a book. And you can. But if you don't know about sales, if you don't have a surefire strategy for marketing or prospecting, then honestly, you've lost the business beyond the book before you even put the book out there. And that's the truth. And that doesn't mean that you've lost the business before you even put yourself out there. And going back to this limited thinking, a lot of published authors feel like they're going to start a membership or sell t-shirts and mugs and stickers and other little cutesy items, for $10 and bundle it with their books. Meanwhile, you're still complaining about your job. You're complaining about the lack of opportunity or expendable income that you have or that you have access to take your business to another level because you're really trying to sell everything for cheap. The truth of the matter is that when you are building a thought leadership brand, you must put the focus on brand and business building. And when you want to monetize your book or monetize beyond your book, you must put an emphasis on learning and executing marketing strategies and tactics and sales. Marketing and sales must be taken into consideration before you write a single word in your book. Now, when you want to monetize your book, you first need to expand your mindset around what's possible. This means that you are going to need to get into some different rooms. You are going to need to get into some different conversations or around some different conversations. Because if all you've heard about or if all you've been exposed to is your auntie or your friend who wrote a book and now they just vend at the church events and go speak at brunches, at Mother's Day brunches, then that's not really going to put you in the environment or around the people that you need to be around in order to get you to understand that you can sell a $1,000 program, a $5,000 or $10,000 program beyond your book, that you can create videos that are going to attract people who come and pay you thousands of dollars. Like, you can create videos stemming from content in your book that's going to attract people to you who want to do business. Okay. You have to expand your mindset around what's possible. So I want you to think about the ways in which you can do that, either through listening to podcasts such as this one, reading mindset books. Like, you're going to have to replace your current operating and thinking system with a new operating and thinking system. And that is not going to happen by itself. It's going to take strategic effort from you on a daily or consistent basis. And I'll be honest, as an entrepreneur, and when you want to grow a business, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to work on renewing your mindset or developing an up-level mindset every single day. This means that instead of listening to the morning shows, you're probably going to need to listen to some motivational audio. Instead of listening to your favorite music, you're probably going to need to listen to some audibles on the way to work. You have to learn something different. You have to constantly feed your mind different information, and it has to replace what's already there, because you got to understand that your current life and business reflects your current level of knowledge, education, skill set, and effort. And so when you want to change that, you have to also change your knowledge, your education, your skill set, and your effort. That means that there are going to be some things that you're going to need to do that you might not feel like doing. There are going to be some things that you need to learn. Yes, all of my highly credentialed folks or my self-taught folks, there are still things for you to learn, because there are things that you don't know. Do you know how many people out here have books that they can't do anything with? And instead of fixing the problem or trying to figure out how they can fix the problem, they keep writing this, they keep just writing more books as if that's going to solve it. And they're quick to say, I have 27 books, I have 30 books, but hadn't turned any of them into a or multiple six-figure stream of income. And that is a problem. Or they look super amateur. They're writing it to write it and sell it on Amazon, but no corporation is buying bulks of the book. No schools or organizations are buying bulks of the book. So you have to expand your mindset around what's possible. And with expanding your mindset around what's possible, you also have to accept and embrace that there are going to be some changes on your end that's going to need to be made. Okay. The second thing that you want to keep in mind when you want to monetize your book is that you need an audience to sell to. Now, there are two ways to grow an audience. You can either grow and build your audience organically, or you can grow and build it through paid traffic. Paid traffic is where you pay to get in front of people. Those are your ads. Organically means that you are doing the work to get in front of different people. This could either be through the media, getting your media features, getting featured on the news, getting featured on podcasts. This could mean strategic prospecting on your behalf, which is where you might scope people out in Facebook groups or on Instagram, send them a friend request or a request to join them, a friend request. If you either follow them or send them a friend request to connect with them. You have to have an audience to sell to. And just because you come out with the book and then create some type of post saying, hey guys, my book is out, that does not mean people are going to buy. I have seen it time and time again where folks wait until the very last minute, the very last day, or the day of their release to even let anybody know that they have it, that they have a book coming out. I know that this is going to date this episode, but last night was the Super Bowl where the Chiefs and the 49ers went back to back. Usher Raymond did the Super Bowl performance, and Beyoncé, whether you're a fan of hers or not, she had this Verizon commercial where she basically hinted that she had new music coming. After the Verizon commercial aired, she dropped the snippets to two new songs and let everyone know that her album is coming out at the end of next month. Now, here you have a superstar who is known all over the world, and they are still letting people know 6 to 8 weeks in advance that they have an album coming out. Now, yes, in the past, if you followed Beyonce's career, you would have seen that she has become notorious for surprise launches. And once something launches, you can go get it. Well, it's a little bit different because this time she's releasing a country album and she's building up momentum for it because country is not her typical genre of music. And so she's building up momentum. She's putting the testers out there to see how people are going to respond to it. She's already gotten into character at the Grammy. She was wearing a country attire with the cowboy hat. And so over the next few weeks, we can prepare to hear more about this album, to see more of her, country style, so on and so forth, to align with what? Her album release that's next month. She is nurturing her audience. But for some reason, when it comes to self-published independent authors, we oftentimes, number one, don't understand the importance of building an audience. And number two, don't understand the importance of nurturing the audience. You may not have an audience of millions, and that is not necessary. But you do need to share what you're doing. You need to bring people along the journey. You need your opt-in so that you're building up your email list. And once people sign up for your email list, once people sign up to stay in the know about your book release, you have an audience. When you have people who engage with your content on social media, that is your audience. Take the time to nurture them. Provide them with content, with information. Because if you just pop up at the spur of the last minute trying to sell something to them, you will be sorely mistaken. Sales is not just letting people know that you have something that is for sale. Sales is an entire process, and it's a journey from taking your prospect from being a prospect into being a paying customer. The last thing I want you to remember is that when it comes to monetizing your book, you need to be very clear on what you're selling, and you need to be able to communicate what you're selling clearly, and do not be afraid to charge. So if you're selling your book, you need to be able to confidently, clearly, and succinctly communicate what your book is about, who it's for, and how it helps them. When you are selling a speech as one of your Beyond the Book offers, you need to be able to communicate the value in your presentation for the audience and what some of those outcomes are. You need to be willing to do some market research, to do some research and groundwork on the offers that you want to create, and making sure that not only are you providing enough value, but you're also priced appropriately as well. There absolutely is a such thing as underpricing. And when you underprice, you can literally repel clients. So you need to be clear on what you're selling, whether it's a book, whether it's a program. You need to be able to articulate it clearly. You need to be able to explain it clearly and succinctly without stumbling over your words. And do not be afraid to charge. There's no reason to charge $10.99 for your book when you can charge $25 for it. I see this happening all the time. Like, you're taking on all the responsibility of printing this book, distributing it, all of the things, all the design work, all the things. And because you are looking at a wholesale price, you feel like your prices need to be bottom of the barrel for your book. Absolutely not. You feel like you need to go sell a 30-minute session for $20. For what? When you can literally change somebody's entire life or career or perspective in the blink of an eye after speaking with somebody for 5, maybe 10 minutes. You can turn their whole entire mindset upside down and help them to course correct. And you mean to tell me that there's no type of financial compensation that can compensate for that? There's no type of financial payment that can compensate for that? Like, really? No, there is. You just have to be clear on what you're selling who you're selling it to, and do not be afraid to charge. So there's so much more that I can even talk about in regards to this, but this is where I want to leave you. The average author makes less than $1,000 per year. Y'all, $1,000 is only 50 books sold at $20 a book. So you mean to tell me that the average author sells less than $50? That the average author sells less than 50 books per year? That's a travesty, and that is laziness. It is time for you to put that statistic to rest. You can sell 1,000 books. I'm talking physical books, not just digital or ebooks. You can sell 1,000 physical books in a year. All right. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe and rate this episode, and then share it with someone else who you know needs this. And as always, peace, love, and impact. Jasmine signing off.